Saturday, July 18th, began with clear skies and gentle breezes. It would be a warm day, we knew, hoping it wouldn't be as hot as last year. We had 6 terrific ponds on display, and we wanted everyone to enjoy themselves. Each pond had something different to show and appreciate, and expectations were high because our publicity campaign had been so successful. Detlev and Michelle's pond is nestled up against the foothills to the south of Los Gatos. Their pond is different from the rest on the tour in that it's a water garden with no koi and no goldfish. It's also different in that it has a fairly complicated water flow. There's 4 waterfalls, 3 pumps, 2 ponds, and a long stream. Most of the time, only 2 pumps are operating, and the third can be turned on when they want more water flow or more waterfall sounds. The waterfalls and large surface area make the backyard more comfortable on hot, dry days. There's also a shaded hideaway that's ideal on a warm afternoon. Our young friend here looks as though she might be wondering whether she could get away with a quick dip while the adults are otherwise occupied. She's likely not the only guest who had that same thought. The outstanding aspect of Jane and Dale's pond is the degree to which the pond, the elevated patio, and the landscaping are integrated to create a really harmonious setting. At 1,000 gallons, the pond isn't particularly large, but it is beautifully laid out and landscaped. It was designed and built by Chuck Cottam, and filtration is an Aqua 4000. The pond is nicely framed by 4 specimen maple trees, and the maples undoubtedly provide a glorious display in the fall. The overall effect drew many admiring comments from the visitors. The elevated patio provides ample space for entertaining, dining, fish watching, or just plain relaxing. In fact, that's Jane relaxing in the low swing on the porch. Jane is partial to dahlias and irises, as you can see from a quick glance around. She has 25 more irises in pots awaiting fall planting season. Cheryl's pond is a great example of what can be done in a relatively small space. The pond doesn't look large, but its 4-foot depth gives it a total volume of 1,700 gallons. Combined with vertical sidewalls, the pond should be virtually predator-proof. The flagstone surround makes a great place to sit and feed the fish or just plain spectate. It also forms a very nice multi-step waterfall. Cheryl has decorated the garden with a variety of interesting objects, including the brightly colored ceramic fish that guards the waterfall. The pond was built by Ken Snar and his crew, and Ken provided a photo board that illustrated the steps in construction. That's Cheryl admiring her handiwork. George and April's pond was clearly the star of the show. The entrance to this beautifully landscaped 2.9-acre estate in Los Altos Hills is through a large circular driveway. After checking in, tour visitors were treated to a very complete photo board showing the stages of constructing the pond. Upon entering the garden, guests were faced with a decision: turn right to go down to the pond, or turn left to visit the 900,000-gallon lake. Those who chose to see the pond first walked down a long series of stone steps toward the guest house. The pond waterfall parallels the walk. The 27,000-gallon pond was designed by Greg Steed and built by Greg, Chuck Cottam, and Ken Snar. It has an extensive filtration system, including 4 large settling tanks and 2 Aqua 20K biofilters. The pond drew an interested crowd throughout the day. Chuck was available to answer questions, of which there was no shortage. Standing at the guest house, looking over the pond, one sees the waterfall, and above the waterfall is the main house, framed by beautiful wooded hillsides and blue sky beyond. Guests who chose to go first to the lake followed a long brick pathway that leads past the beautiful swimming pool with its statuary and down the hillside to the lake. The lake is idyllic. It's graced with a number of lily plants, koi, and a beautiful willow tree that probably was planted in the 1940s, maybe earlier. The property has an interesting history. It's situated on the old 42-acre Pink Horse Ranch, which was, at various times, a dairy farm and a day tripper resort, and it's even rumored that a casino flourished here at one time. This aerial photo taken on Memorial Day weekend of 1951 shows hundreds of automobiles and a very big holiday crowd. People would come from cold, clammy San Francisco to spend the day or longer in the sun in Moody Road Canyon. There was lots to eat and drink, dancing, trout fishing, and leisurely camaraderie while sitting around the large pond by the willow tree. Yep, same pond. Several of the old ranch buildings, including the barn, still stand and have been declared historic. This is the owner, George, with one of his favorite friends. Ken and Barbara Snar's Pond is known to many of our members, as are the Snars themselves. Both Ken and Barbara have been very active in the club, and their two lovely ponds show their devotion to koi keeping. The large pond has a 5,700-gallon capacity and is populated with championship-quality fish. Two waterfalls bring filtered pond water down into the pond from a small hill. This is the first pond that Ken designed and built by himself when he originally became interested in koi. It all went so well that he decided to start the full-service pond business that he operates to this day. There's an automatic feeder to keep the fish well fed. When it goes off, it shoots a stream of pellets out into the pond, and this excites a mad stampede of hungry fish and a geyser of water that often surprises visitors. Kind of like watching a water polo game at close range. The Snars also have a second pond. On the way to it, Ken put up several photo boards showing the construction process for both ponds. Ken and Barbara call the second pond their water garden, and that's true. It's populated by some beautiful lotuses and water lilies, but it's also a clandestine grow-out pond, and this is where Ken keeps his babies. We were fortunate to see the lotuses in full bloom. It's a rare event that only lasts a few days each year. And now you know why Ken and Barbara smile so much. And now for a word to our 31 very generous sponsors. Your support means a great deal to us. We see it as a two-way street. Our part is to urge our members and friends to utilize your services. Your ads were in our Pond Tour booklet, and they're now on our website. We thank you for your support and look forward to a continuing, mutually beneficial relationship.